With us right now is Dan Allweiler, the president of Sterling Financial Advisors.
Good to see you, Ken.
Nice to see you.
How was your Memorial Day?
It was very good.
Did
How
you stay
about
in
yours?
town?
Yes, we did. Did a barbecue and, of course,
Did the whole
went
thing,
to Disneyland and did all kinds of stuff.
Was it busy?
Interestingly, we went Friday evening,
Yeah.
and because for those who are pass holders, it's blocked unless you're the top pass holder. So we actually walked on some attraction. Yes, it was incredible. Everybody was at California Adventure for the new attraction that reopened. So we stayed at the Disneyland side. It was great.
Good, good.
How about you?
We actually, we've got a houseboat up at Lake Powell that we
That's right, you do.
We actually went up. You know how they winterize things? We're summerizing it now, getting it ready for the season and everything. And so we spent 2 or 3 days up there kind of getting all the cobwebs out and the dust off the houseboat.
That sounds fun.
Because it's kind of winterized for the winter, you know. But we went up there and got that ready, so it was fun.
That's really neat. I never did that. My wife did when she was younger because her parents did the houseboat
we do it
a
couple of times a summer. Our kids just love it.
Yeah.
It's worked out well for us.
You can fit a lot of people on it.
Create a lot of memories for our family. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, our subject today, this is an interesting one. How to use a self-directed IRA to buy real estate.
I have clients come to me all the time wanting to take their IRAs and buy real estate, and they figure, well, I can just take the distribution and go buy a property and rent it out, and it'll be in my IRA.
Right.
You can't really do that without having what is called a third-party custodian that actually will administer your IRA, so to speak. And so, and so you can't just go out and decide to do it on your own. There has to be some, some hoops you jump through in order to make sure that it qualifies with the IRS. Okay,
now this is what we're talking about. You talked about the distribution, or are we talking about, in my IRA, I have a self-directed one here, what I choose to invest in, the stocks, bonds, mutual funds, but I also want to use it to invest in real estate?
When you say self-directed, it's really not that's not what is considered self-directed. You might have your IRA with Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or Vanguard, and you're choosing which stocks to use that they have in their portfolio. Now, if you wanted to go out and say, okay, Fidelity, I want to go buy this house, they're not going to let you do that because they don't approve that. So you can only invest in the things that Fidelity or Vanguard or TD Ameritrade allows you to invest in, and when you go out and get a property, they can't value that property, they can't do all those things. So an industry has popped up called third-party administrators, or custodians, which say, okay, you can transfer your funds to us, and we will, based upon certain limitations, allow you to invest in just about anything that you want to invest in. So, I want to go out and invest in this piece of this condominium with my IRA funds. Well, they'll allow you to do that as long as there's reporting done, how much income or expenses there are, so they can, at the end of the year, report to the IRS the value of the property, the income that's come in or not come in, whatever it might be. So it's not just something you can say, hey, Fidelity, I want to go buy a piece of property.
I see what you're saying. But you can do it. There is a way to do it.
There is to do it. You hear all the time on the radio now, you can invest in gold, and you can hold the gold. And I'm trying to think, that's pretty dicey because who's to stop you from going and liquidating the gold, And so there's got to be parameters and guidelines that the IRS sets up that's acceptable to do that, You can invest in gold, as long as it's American coins, You can't just go get bullion and put it in your IRA. It has to be American coins that you invest in, So you can't just automatically go down to your local gold dealer and say, I want to buy a bullion of gold in my IRA. There's restrictions on how you can invest in gold in an IRA.
Now, let me go back for just a minute and talk about a self-directed IRA that then I would consider a standard IRA or whatever. That's probably the wrong term I'm using. But kind of tell the difference of that. You mentioned how if I want to start my own IRA and I want to do it with Fidelity or whoever, there are...
they have mutual funds, stocks, bonds, whatever you want to invest in. But there are limitations as to what they will allow you using them as the custodian. You can go to a different custodian and they'll let you do limited partnerships or do whatever, okay?
Right.
Or REITs or real estate investment trusts or whatever you might do. Every custodian has limitations as to what they allow within their IRA guidelines.
Okay.
So each custodian, the more what we call self-directed custodians, will allow you much more flexibility as to what to invest your IRA funds. You can sit it and leave it in money market if you want until you tell them, I found a property, I want to invest this money. But they hold the money, you don't hold the money, okay?
Right.
So a self-directed IRA is one that says, okay, you hold the money, and then I'm going to go out and find something, that a piece of property that I want to invest in. They will issue the check to the mortgage company or whoever, okay? So you don't have control of that, but you're directing it as to where to send the money to.
Okay.
When I have an IRA with Fidelity, I can say I want it in this mutual fund, in this stock, and whatever, and they allow that, but they're not going to allow you to have a separate piece of property.
Right. Let me ask you something then. With these third-party self-directed IRAs, how safe are they? Now, I'm not talking about what you choose to invest in. I'm talking about the companies that are holding them.
Yeah, they're bonded and they're pretty regulated. I mean, this isn't somebody that's working out of their garage.
Okay.
They're established companies, corporations that do this for a business, you know, and they recognize that there's people out there that want to invest in real estate, and so they set up these custodial businesses that will actually monitor. They'll get values at the end of the year of what your IRA is worth or not worth, you know, if it's dropped in value, whatever it might be. One note, a lot of times people would want to put life insurance in an IRA, and you're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Because the taxation of death benefit on life insurance is tax-free.
Right.
And they don't let you have a tax-free benefit inside your IRA.
Okay, so now, like, if my IRA is with Fidelity or whoever, American Funds, whatever it might be, I can go ahead and say, you know, at the end of the year or however many times a year you can do it, you know, I'm deciding I want to shift from here, this mutual fund to that one or whatever. Now, with these self-directed ones, how often can you do that? At the end of the year, can you say, you know what, I want to pull my IRA, the money I have in real estate, and turn it to gold?
You got to sell the real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that.
Yes.
But one of the disadvantages that you have when you're investing in real estate, a single piece of property or whatever it is you take away the liquidity issue that you got within your IRA. Because a house is not liquid like selling a stock. You know, you can go sell a stock and in 3 days it's cleared and you've got your money.
So you are literally picking that property.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, here's the other one I got to ask in that. Can you live in that property? Or it must be rental property?
There's what they call conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And you can't buy it and have your sister live in it and things like that. Okay, so there's some limitations that is approved by the IRS. You can't have what they call self-dealing.
Right.
Okay, and so there's some parameters that you have to go by and stick to, or you're going to get in trouble. It'll be 100% taxable to you. One of the things that people run into sometimes is when you do invest in these separate pieces of property or condominiums or whatever it is, and you turn age 70 and a half, and then you have to have required distributions, but all the money is tied up in the real estate. There's no money to take out for your required distributions. So you've got to keep some money that's liquid enough.
That's a good point.
To take out your required distributions, or you're going to get into trouble.
Right.
Because if all that's in your IRA, so to speak, is the value of the property, you're not making any net income off of that, then you're going to run into problems when you have to go take your required distributions and there's no money there to distribute. Now, if you've got a separate IRA over with Fidelity, along with this other one, you can take it all out of Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or whatever you might do, in order to satisfy that. But if that's your only IRA and you don't have cash in there for your distributions, you run into problems.
Okay, what about the fact that it's rental property? So you are getting, it's in your IRA, it's rental property. You are hopefully seeing that appreciate the value of the property.
There's two
but
issues.
you could be getting several $1,000s a month.
There's cash flow as well as growth on the property.
Okay.
So if you're able to, you know, I don't know, if you've got $750,000 in an IRA and you buy the property for cash, let's say, now you're getting income off of that. You don't have a mortgage. You've got you've got some expenses through property taxes and things like that and maintenance, okay? But the net income comes into the IRA as a tax deferral. You don't have to claim that as income to you because it's within that umbrella of the self-directed IRA.
So if you're bringing in a couple $1,000s a month from your renters,
correct,
it goes right into your IRA.
Into your IRA account.
Okay. The other question, I know I'm asking a lot of questions,
that's okay.
but I find this fascinating. There's maintenance issues on that house.
Sure.
Can you then offset that and say, well, yeah, I'm getting $2,500 a month from my renter, but I'm putting out $500 a month for the property taxes, for the association fees, for this and that, for the maintenance on the yard.
Right.
Can you offset that like anything?
Well, you don't have to worry about that because it's still under the umbrella of the IRA. Okay. And so that $2,000, if you're getting $2,500, okay, none of that's going to be taxable to you anyway because it's under the shelter of the IRA.
Okay.
Because there are expenses. Maybe at the end of the year, rather than having $30,000 of cash, you've got $20,000 of cash because of the expenses on the property.
Okay.
That $20,000 is still not taxable to you because it's under that shelter of that IRA.
And that means you also, because it's in the IRA, you can't touch that money until distribution without...
59.5 is when you can start taking it out.
Right.
70, you have to start taking it out. But let's assume that you bought it for $500,000, the property for $500,000, and you sell it for $750. None of that is taxed to you as well because it's under the shelter of the IRA. So you can actually get all those capital gains deferred. Okay.
Right.
But it comes out as ordinary income instead of capital gains.
Yeah.
So there's some tax issues.
Wow, a lot of interesting stuff in there.
So, I mean, for some people, I have a current client that lost his job. He was an executive with one of the major technology companies. He'd been searching for a job for a long time, and he came in and talked to me. He says, "Can I use my 401k funds for purchasing a business?" And I said, "Well, you can, but you've got to have the separate custodian and everything." He ended up finding a franchise that he's going to use as a down payment with his 401k money. And
interesting.
Have a third-party custodian, and hopefully it works out for him.
Very good. Look at all the interesting things we can learn here. That's really fascinating. I never knew that.
Sure.
If you want to speak with Dan or any of the folks that work with him up there at Sterling Financial Advisors, the number's on the screen, 949-859-8900. sterlingfa.com is the website. And look at all the interesting things you can find. And what's really great is people can sit down and talk to you with no obligation and just go over things like this.
This is just a get to know you meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no sales that go on. It's just a get to know you. We don't even know whether or not we can help you, and so it's as much of an interview for us as it is for them.
Right.
And we sit down and and sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. So maybe they've got everything in order, and that's okay. You just got a second opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
So.
Good people up there. I've known them for quite a while.
Good to see you,
Dan.
Yeah.
We'll see you again soon.
All right.
And we'll be right back. Yeah.